I remember it like it was yesterday. So it was one particular day, the morning of April 4th of 2017. I stepped on the scale and I gained even more weight. I had gained 32 more pounds from that visit with the doctor. So when I had that annual checkup with the doctor, I was 232 pounds. And 5.5 months later, I was 254 pounds. I did not have a personal trainer at the time. Now I'm a certified personal trainer today because I turned my pain of being overweight to my passion. But at that particular time, it was literally a mindset shift. And I firmly believe that our mindset is the most powerful resource or assets that we own. And I love your podcast, the title, Knowing Who You Are. We have to know who we are. And we are possible to achieve anything we literally set our minds to. My mission is to help individuals with their healthy lifestyle journey. And me having that experience, going through the struggle of being obese and overweight, I can relate to those individuals who are in that current spot, and I'm here to help them. I'm here to help them get out of that because I firmly believe you can lose weight naturally. I lost 112 pounds all natural. There was no weight loss pills, there was no gimmicks, no shortcuts. It was literally a mindset shift.
Hello, Tasha Dawson. Welcome to Knowing Who You Are. And it's a great day today here in London. At the same time, I can understand you're from Indianapolis, Indiana. And it's a great day there as well. And definitely you're a healthy person having a great day. And thanks for making the time to join the podcast. I hope everyone who's watching today, all the listeners and the viewers of the podcast on YouTube and people who'll be listening later on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon, they would be benefited from your journey and the story you're going to share with us today. So, Tasha, once again, welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your day to host this podcast. I'm just really excited because this is a historic milestone for me being on a London podcast. As you mentioned, I do reside in Indianapolis, Indiana. So I'm just really honored and grateful to be on your podcast, knowing who you are. So I want to say thank you, sir, for the
It's my
opportunity.
pleasure, Tasha. And thanks for making the time for us as well, because definitely people who'll be listening and watching this podcast as well later on YouTube, they'll be benefited from this one. And it's there for posterity. Anyone can go back and see that because many of the things you've been mentioning, it would help them. So, Tasha, I always start with this. Normally, the journeys I came across at Wisdom app, where you have your talks, your conversations, and you're coaching people that as a fitness trainer, you're a certified fitness trainer. So that's when I heard about your struggle, and I can see that you mentioned you're very honest about the journey, because that integrity and the honesty that helps for people when people are entrusting their health, their well-being in you, and they're thinking that you're going to bring that change for them. So how did this journey start for you? What was the struggle that you talk about? Because you are known as Tasha Determined, right?
Yes. Yes, a great question. So my journey with weight loss, it started in November 2016, when I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes. It was an annual visit with the doctor, and my doctor he was really alarmed. He had an alarming look on his face, and he was very candid and honest with me. And he said, Latasha, because my full name's Latasha, but I go by Tasha. He said, Latasha, you're on the verge of having diabetes if you do not change your eating habits, lose weight, and exercise. And as soon as he said the word like diabetes or pre-diabetes, and I was like, wow, this is serious. And I was sad and devastated to hear that news. And the reason why, because I was reflecting. As soon as he said the word diabetes, I just immediately thought about my deceased relatives. And some of my deceased relatives, they did pass away due to serious complications from diabetes. Some of my deceased relatives, they lost limbs, they became blind, they had kidney failure, they was placed on dialysis, and ultimately it led to their death. And I didn't want that for my life.
What motivated you? Especially, we all want to live a healthy life, because two things that we have is our body and mind. That makes sure that we would have a healthy life and the longevity in our life as well. Because knowing who you are is about the is a wellness podcast, so it makes sure to make sure that people have the well-being, the mental well-being and the physical well-being, both are integrated in one place, and it's very important. You can't have one without the other. They're interconnected. So, as you said, that you have seen the struggle within your family, your relatives, or people you know who are near and dear to you, they have been through that struggle. So that's what motivated you. Is there anything else? Say, for example, when people, I mean, were you overweight when you were quite young? I mean, what age did you start
Yeah.
feeling that everyone is talking about it, and you started feeling very conscious about it?
Another great question.
Okay.
So, far as my weight loss journey, and my stories, it's unique because, and the reason why I say that because I wasn't overweight and obese all my life. I know a lot of people who struggle with weight loss. It generally starts maybe at a younger age. But for me, I was very athletic. I come from an athletic background, was highly
Mm.
competitive. And what I mean by that, I played basketball. I played basketball from middle school all the way into a freshman year of college. So I played basketball from the age of 12 all the way to 19. And I completed a very high level varsity. I played basketball year round, even when school wasn't in session. So we did have summer. Even
Wow.
when school wasn't in session, I played AAU, which is a summer version of basketball. So that's one of my favorite sports. So I
So
was
how,
very
how did it happen
athletic
then?
growing
You're a
up.
fit person and you've been very active growing up. So at what age did things change for you?
Yes, I would say at 19 when I stopped playing basketball. So I played basketball my freshman year. So after I stopped playing basketball, I was still eating like I was an athlete. And when you're an
Mm.
athlete, you do need to consume a lot of calories to keep up with that high demand. And during that days, like I would, like I said, I competed at a high level. I would have two a days, which means I would practice twice a day, and even in the summer. So I was very competitive and competed at a high level.
Hmm.
So if you need calories to keep you energized.
Yeah.
And a lot of athletes have similar stories too. When they stop playing, when they stop being athletic and they continue to eat like they're athletic, that's when the pounds come on. Literally, once I stopped playing basketball, I stopped working out and I kept eating like I was playing. As a result, over the years, the pounds added up.
So
And
you stopped working out, but you were
mhm.
playing. Still, you were a player. You're a basketball player, or did you stop everything altogether?
Yep, I stopped everything altogether. So I pretty much retired
Oh,
at
why was
19.
that? I mean, what prompted you to take the decision that you won't play basketball anymore? Was there any other pressure, like study, family, or anything else around you?
Yes, I decided that it was best for me to pursue academics and focus on that primarily. And also
Mm,
at that particular time, I did wanted to be student trustee of my
okay.
university. So that was a commitment as well. And I just knew that it was fun playing basketball, but up to that point, I just wanted to focus on my studies and actually
Hmm.
pursue my academic endeavors. So I had to just let basketball go for the side. And as a result, I did start gaining weight and being obese, but it comes back to the proper nutrition. I wasn't mindful as well as self-aware of my proper nutrition because I was continuing to eat like I was an athlete. And as a result, I, I was gaining weight. I had a sedentary lifestyle. And,
Because I think the body craves it, isn't it? Because it's used
yeah,
to it. Because it has been, you've been feeding it for quite
yeah,
some time, and it knows that this is what lunch means, this is what dinner means, this is what breakfast is like. So if you don't have that initially, that's the hardest part of losing weight. Say when you start eating at a certain level, and this is the quantity of the food that you're having, and suddenly when you start going on a diet, and when you don't give enough food and it's like, okay, it's not enough, I'm feeling hungry, and you feel hungry over and over again. So that was the thing. And sometimes if you're not mindful about it, then
yes,
without your knowledge, at some point you start gaining weight. Quite
yes,
understandable. So
yes,
so during the time you pursued your academic career, and you were mindful about that, but your health had to pay the toll for that. Your doctor, as you mentioned, he said
mhm,
that, Tasha, unless you're careful, you're heading towards a disaster, kind of, because it's a diabetic condition that you're heading
yes.
towards. So is there anything in the meantime, because you're studying, and you stop playing basketball, your fitness regime, everything has kind of changed. So did you start feeling the change, or you totally didn't realize because you're so concentrated on the academic career?
And also, too, I would like to point out as well, too, within my academic career, too, my weight gain. So back then, I did do stress and emotional eating because at that particular time, I did have a very, I
Mm.
would say, a toxic job. It was very, it was overwhelming, very high turnover. But luckily, I don't work there anymore. But that was part of my journey as well. When I was stressed out, I would cope eat, and I
Mm.
resonate when I coach my clients as well as family members and friends. They can correlate that to they can correlate with that as well too. So that's part of my journey of me being overweight too, is just doing emotional or stress eating. And luckily, I've been able to combat that and find better ways to cope with stress because we all have stress. That's just part of life. And I'm thankfully I don't work there anymore.
That's such a
I
good
have my
point. I mean,
yeah,
you're bringing up
yes.
such a good point, because it's not, we only think that sometimes people say this is the thing about toxic positivity these days. No, just go to the gym and lead a healthy life, eat healthy. But it doesn't happen. Your body is not separated from your mind. When you're going through the stress, even different hormones in our body, that creates a lot of harm to our body as well. So, what did you specialize in terms of your study? Was it related to fitness, or it's totally different?
Totally different. So for my, that's another great question. So for my studies, I have a background, and I have two bachelor's degrees, one in business management as well as international business. And I'm also too recently back in 2019, I did receive or earn my MBA. So I have a master's in business administration with a concentration in accounting. So during my undergrad, when I did gain
Amazing.
that weight, I majored in business.
Okay,
So my
so
background.
yeah, you're a high achiever in your academic career and also your professional career. So then, definitely at some point, the alarm started ringing, and you became mindful that I have to be careful about my physical health, because sometimes when we think that we are achieving success, we think, but when your physical fitness, your body is not with you, your health is not with you, then what's the point of the success? Many people put off taking care of their physical health until a certain age. It happens because we get carried away, and especially nowadays, so much competition around us and so much distraction. And everyone, you see this curated perfection all around you on Instagram, Facebook, social media, and everyone looks perfect. And you feel like, okay, I need to have that. I mean, I'm not saying particularly in your case, probably, but most people are pressurized at work. I need to work harder. I need to earn more money. I need to have drive a car like that, or probably have a place like that too. I see my friends are going on a holiday, on a monthly basis or every few months. So that's the pressure. And sometimes we forget, because you can change your face using an app. If you feel like, okay, you look stressed, okay, use face app or something, then you straight away you look better. So how did you start doing it? What was the first step that, okay, it's now out of my control? And it was a very big, what was the weight at the time? What did you have to come down from? I mean, what was your weight at the time?
So at my heaviest, I weighed 254 pounds. And that was really devastating because when I did
Yeah.
get the warning signs from the doctor when I was diagnosed with prediabetes, it was back in November of 2016. And I didn't change my lifestyle right away. And it's unfortunate, but that's part of my testimony. I didn't take action right away. Some people take immediate actions like, wow,
Mm.
okay, that's a wake up call. But I didn't. But that's part of my testimony. And the reason why, too, because I did fail at weight loss for 9.5 years prior to my successful weight loss. But what was the driving force? Was on November, or was what was the driving force was April 4th of 2017 when I stepped on a scale and I weighed 254 pounds. So I had gained even more weight from that visit with the doctor. And that's
Mm.
when I was like, wow, Latasha, you have to take action. And I stepped off the scale. It was a very emotional, vulnerable day for me because I literally started crying in my bathroom. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gained even more weight. And I thought about what my doctor stated. He said, Latasha, if you do not gain control of your eating habits and lose weight, you're going to have diabetes. You're pre-diabetic now. It's not a matter of
Mm.
if, it's a matter of when if you don't take action. And I was just, my body was filled with all type of emotions from sadness, frustration, and worry. I was ultimately worried about my health because I was thinking about all my deceased relatives who has passed away from having diabetes. So that was the day. And the reason why I say that was the day because after I stopped crying, I was literally in my bathroom crying because it was very emotional.
Mhm.
And also I was thinking about all of my failed attempts at weight loss because prior to me losing weight in 2017, I failed at weight loss for 9.5 years. and I needed to lose at least 100 pounds to be in a healthy weight.
Wow.
A healthy weight, and I'm 5'5", so I'm relatively small frame for a woman. I'm 5'5", and that was too much weight to carry around.
Hmm.
So also at that time I did have sleep apnea. So I had some health complications. Sleep apnea is a serious sleep disorder
Yeah.
you're placed on a breathing machine to help you sleep. So I even had sleep apnea. So what helped me change my
I mean,
mindset and
you
what helped
can
me.
develop some kind of heart problems as well. That,
Yep, you're right.
yeah.
Yep. Heart problems. Even my doctor also stated too. Not only I was diagnosed with prediabetes, but he stated if I continued on this unhealthy path, if I continued to gain even more weight and not be mindful of my eating habits and exercise, he did state I will also have a high blood pressure as well as high cholesterol and even heart disease. And all of those ailments they do run in my family also. So I had to take action. And what helped me take that action was looking. I literally looked myself in the mirror and I did not like what I saw. And the reason why I said it because it was my reflection. I was my reflection in the mirror, and I knew deep down that I was not living or being the best version of myself
Mm.
because I was literally eating like crap. I did not have mindful eating. I did not consider proper nutrition. I was literally eating like crap, and as a result of me
But
eating like
were you
crap.
doing it out of stress, as you mentioned,
Yep.
stress
Yes,
at
great.
work? That
Mm-hmm.
was due to that you couldn't stop. Even you had the warning from the doctor that you should take care of that. You should stop it, and you should take some steps in terms of getting your weight down. But you didn't listen because you couldn't stop. Was it due to the stress?
Yep. It was due to the stress, and that was the way I cope with stress. You know, some people cope with stress in
Mm.
other ways, but when I cope with stress through eating, and that was a catalyst, or that contributed to me being
I
obese
think
and
food
overweight.
binging is quite common for most people, isn't it? I mean, most of the
Yeah.
time, say there's an upset, someone is on a breakup, and you see that straight away, they just eat. And when you can't find a solution to a problem, then some people start drinking. There are people who have other addictions. Some people probably watching Netflix, sitting there in one place, series after series, and things like that,
Mhm.
or episodes after episodes. So, uh, the motivation initially, as you said, it was 254 pounds, and from that you had to lose to start with 100 pounds. So at that time, definitely you had the warning, and there are other driving factors for from your family members, people around you. You've already seen the difficulty people got, the struggle as well, what people can go through. But what kept you going? What was your motivation?
Yeah, beautiful question. So
Thank
what
you.
kept me going through my journey because it took me 9 months to lose 112 pounds all natural.
Wow.
When I say all natural, I did not have weight loss surgery, but I like to point out that I'm not against weight loss surgery. Also, I did not take any weight loss pills. There was no gimmicks, no tricks, no shortcuts. And what helped me keep going, what helped me persevere was my health, literally my why. Man, that's what I tell my clients as well as individuals who are looking to lose weight. You have to have a well-defined why. My health was at stake. I
To
did not
find
want
out
to
the
be.
how, right?
Yeah, yes, you're right. Yeah, and that's going back to knowing who you are, just knowing to your heart, knowing who you are, because we're all literally all possible of achieving or manifesting our dreams, our goals. It just comes back to that mindset. So that helped me as well, just having a well-defined why, and just keep going. And 9 months it's a long time to keep pushing through. It's almost a year. It's 3 months away from a year, but it was a journey well worth it. And I'm just really grateful and happy that I decided to take action.
How did you do that? I mean, what was your routine to start with? Say, for example, the first week. Say someone is going through a similar struggle and they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And if you share your journey, say, for example, okay, that was my first week, this was the first month, if you could break it down a little bit for everyone.
Sure. So I took the micro approach to my weight loss journey, and that's what I tell individuals who are looking to lose weight and also live a healthy lifestyle. Literally take things one day at a time, and that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did, and what I focused on primarily was my proper nutrition because proper nutrition is the key, is the foundation to weight loss, but not only weight loss, healthy living. Because I've been able to maintain and keep the weight off for all of these years. So it starts with that proper nutrition. So for the first month and a half, I literally just focused on my proper nutrition. And what I mean by that, I started to reduce things that were contributing to my unhealthy eating, that were contributing to me being obese and overweight. And at that particular time, One of my favorite things was fried chicken. I love fried chicken, fried pork chops, really anything fried because I grew up on fried food, and
In
that's
America, I don't think you can avoid it. I was there, and especially in Indianapolis, I've been there many times. The breakfast portions. I mean, you have almost like a whole chicken is for breakfast. I mean, I've experienced, and everything is somehow fried there. Like
yeah,
even if you're having pickle, fried pickle, right? That's
yeah.
another popular thing. So everything that you have, there's oil, grease, and then frying things, and also sometimes probably coming from a particular background or culture doesn't help. Like I come from Asian culture, Asian background. So our food habit, even though it's very tasty, and it's elaborate cooking as well, you have to a lot of spice and you have to give it some time
Mhm.
processing of food. So every culture has their own culinary delights and how you do that. Some cultures are nice in a way that they don't use that much oil, they don't fry that much. But there are certain cultures, like we do a lot of fry foods, we do a lot of cooking and spice and a lot of things. So it's hard, and especially the Asian, South Asian people here in London as well. I mean, the hospitals you go, they have the higher chances of diabetes, and they have the higher chances of heart attack, blood pressure, and things like that. And I think, particularly your community,
Yes.
due to the food habit, same thing, uh, like us, probably go through the same kind of problem, because growing up, this is the food you see at home being cooked as well.
Yes, yes, that's a beautiful question. You're right too. I'm from a very similar, as far as the culture too. We grew up with a lot of fried food, and that's just the way we grew up. But now it's time just to educate, educate the cultures and communities to let them know you can still have those things in moderation, not every single day. Have it on a
Hmm.
treat meal or a cheat day, but don't eat fried food every single day because, as you indicated, eventually you're going to be obese and overweight, and it's going to lead to some chronic diseases. And
Hmm.
there's a lot of medical research out here to support that if we start being mindful and self aware of our proper nutrition, we can reduce some of these chronic diseases, such as diabetes, such as high blood pressure, as well as heart disease, and also high cholesterol. It literally starts with the proper nutrition. And you're absolutely right too. And I just come from a culture where it's definitely diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, as well as high cholesterol is very prominent. It's very prominent. And also obesity as well as diabetes is very prominent in my culture. But it just goes back to that proper nutrition. And I'm a woman on a mission to help individuals, not only in my community or culture, just around the world, to
Yeah.
let them know it's truly possible to reverse some of these chronic diseases if you just be mindful and self-aware of proper nutrition.
But unfortunately, sometimes that healthy food and nutritious food, they're not the same thing, and it's not synonymous. So
Yes.
if you have to go through some trade-off, so either you have healthy food, and sometimes it might not be as tasty as fried chicken or probably a tub of ice cream, you know. And also something when you mix sweet with your coffee or your tea, and there are a lot of factors involved in it. You're sleeping, how much you're resting, and definitely you will add to those. So, what about the mental side of thing? So when you're affected, so it's not only on a physical level, your weight loss that needs to be at the same time accompanied by a mindset, so how you can stay positive and you can stay on that path. As you're saying that your motivation had been definitely your well-being and also longevity of your life and the overall enjoyment of your life. But how does it affect the mindset and how does it affect mental health?
Yes. I would say it definitely would help me with my mindset and my mental health to stay in a positive direction. I literally listen to positive content on YouTube. I listen to
Mm,
various motivational speakers. I will listen to even positive music to help me have a positive mindset.
mm-hmm,
And when it came to my weight loss journey, what helped me stay in a healthy mental state, I literally took the micro approach, and I've discussed proper nutrition. And when it comes to a healthy lifestyle journey and taking the micro approach, is proper nutrition first and fitness is secondary.
mm,
And when I had all those failed attempts at weight loss, I would try to take the macro approach. And what I mean by the macro approach, I try to do too much all at once. I would try to go cold turkey, focus on proper nutrition. I would try to work out 5, 6 days a week and just having these high expectations, which were not realistic at the time because I was living a sedentary lifestyle. I was inactive and I wasn't following proper nutrition guidelines. So I was just trying to tackle and do too much all at once. As a result, I failed
So
for
what
nine
was
and a
your
half years.
routine? You would, how many times to start with would you go to the gym or work out?
Yes. Yeah, so once I got my proper nutrition in order, so literally I focused on my proper nutrition for a month and a half, and I saw some results in that as far as my weight reduction. I even had better clarity, better focus, and better confidence, and just overall energy too. So I literally focused on that. Then after that month and a half, that's when I incorporated fitness. And what I did for my fitness, I started walking around my apartment complex because at that particular time I lived in my apartment complex. So I would walk 3 times a week for 30 minutes. I would walk 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Just a nice brisk walk, nothing too
Hmm.
strenuous. And I would listen to some nice positive music or motivational speeches on YouTube, which will help me with my journey. And for my fitness journey, I set a 2 week time frame. So every 2 weeks, I increase my frequency. So for the first 2 weeks, I walked around my apartment complex for 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Then after that 2 week was up, I increased it to 4 times a week for 30 minutes walking, then eventually 5 times a week to 6 times a week. So it was 2 weeks. So I had a 2 week goal to increase my frequency or my duration of walking. Then once I was comfortable with that, I started slight jogging. Slight jogging around my apartment complex. So what I mean by that, I jog for 30 seconds, followed by a minute and a half walk. And I will alternate, it was interval. So I was doing like low
Okay.
intensity, then eventually I increased to high intensity. So high intensity is high intensity training, which is also known as HIIT. And once I felt comfortable with that, I purchased a gym membership. I literally took the Michael approach. I didn't. So
Mm.
I purchased a gym membership about a month and a half later into my fitness journey. But I didn't purchase a gym membership right away because I wanted to take the Michael approach, and I didn't want to. I was still trying to just reestablish being a
I think
fitness
this is
person.
how many people fail because you hear many people, they take out the gym membership and they don't end up going there. And they go there probably initially once a week, twice a week. And most of the time I see when I go to the gym, because I'm quite regular. So I see people sometimes sitting on a, say, bicycle or a cycle or treadmill, just walking with their phone in their hand and just watching something. And they're thinking, I'm doing workout. And probably they stay there 1.5 hours, but doing nothing positive in terms of changing where they are. So that's a loss of their time. So if you do, I mean, your message is here. So you need to first get mentally and physically ready before you are ready to take on that next step in the journey.
Yes.
That's very important. I mean, it's a very good message for many people who think that okay, 31st of December, New Year resolution. So 2nd of January, I've started going to the gym 6 days a week. It doesn't happen. You have to. It has to be a slow progress, isn't it? You have to face yourself and slowly, and you can start doing that. I can share a story. What happened? Because I don't know about you. How do you find running? But I used to hate running. I mean, there was a time, and I used to. I'm going to use this word. It's a very strong word, hate. But I really, every time I would go to the gym, and that's one thing I would think, oh my God, can I do that? I started seeing physiotherapy, and I have started taking, and they had recommended a lot of different exercises. I started taking, nothing was improving. So what I was doing at the time, I was working out for the upper body, but my legs, I was neglecting it. I wasn't really doing much for my leg muscles. But what happened at some point, I started doing, okay, start doing some leg muscles and proper exercises on a daily basis, not just once a week. And then I started running. To be honest with you now, I love running. The first thing I do going to the gym, because I'm talking about the balance, even when you're working out, the balance of, because if the pillars, which is holding the whole structure, that's weak, I mean, there's no point. You're making it top heavy and you're asking these thin pillars to hold the whole building. I mean, it won't really work that way, isn't it? So I found that literally when I worked on the right thing, right muscle group, and straight away, I mean, running became so easy because I I have been recruited by the Royal Navy. So during that time, my fitness test was to run for a particular mileage and within a period of time. So it was really hard. But and funny thing was that I was traveling at the time out of London. I went back to South Asia, and on my way back, I had to quarantine. It was during the COVID, and I was stuck in a hotel with my partner for 2 weeks and 16 days to be more specific. And then we've been eating, and there's no physical exercise, nothing, because she was found positive. So due to that, we were locked in that room. So every day we would just wake up, knock on the door, breakfast, knock on the door, lunch, dinner. You eat, you watch something on TV. I would do exercises in the room, but still, it was good food. And I came out with that extra weight in my body. Then I had straight away call, okay, now your fitness test is ready. And I have to do that run. Just imagine. I passed it somehow, because that's a lesson why I'm sharing this. Because when your back is pushed to the wall, I'm talking about your case as well. When you have no other option, nowhere to go, you're like, then you know how strong you are. I felt on that day, even though I had extra weight, I wasn't working out for nearly 2 weeks, and your body get lethargic. But still, I managed. So same in your case, when you felt okay, now I have no other option, either do or die, right? So then you get into that regime. So for people as well, I think who feel that no, it's not for me, it's too late. What would you say? What would you say to them?
Yes, it's not too late. It's not too late for anyone, for anyone who's looking to live a healthy lifestyle, for looking to lose weight. It's never too late. And I firmly believe as long as you're on this earth, as long as you're breathing, you have breath, and you're able to achieve your weight loss and your healthy lifestyle, it's not too late. And I like what you stated also too. We're all strong. We are literally, or we're powerful beyond measure. And I love the title of your podcast, knowing who you are. We are literally powerful beyond measure, and we can tap into greatness because I firmly believe that we all have greatness in us. We all have a gift. We all have a mission, as well as we all have a purpose. And it's up to us. It's up to us to manifest that. And like you stated too with your story, you are like far as your strength, and you persevere. And we all have that capability. And I tell everyone, if Tasha can lose weight, so can you. And if I can keep it off, so can you. It's truly possible because we're all unique, and we're all, like I said, we all have greatness in us.
Why do you bring Tasha as an example?
Yes.
I mean, what was different for Tasha? What was the hardest part? What was so difficult for Tasha that if Tasha can do it, you can do it? But what was that thing that would motivate people to hear the story of Tasha? You already shared with us, but from a mindset point of view, during that time when you had that struggle, definitely there had been a negative or mindset downtime, and there had been days when you totally felt demotivated. You feel like, no, it's not going to happen. I can't do that. So, did it happen with you?
Yes, yes, definitely. And I firmly believe there's a difference between discipline and motivation, self-discipline. I firmly believe there's going to be days where when you're motivated. You're motivated, and I feel like the key distinction between motivation versus self-discipline is longevity. I feel like discipline, self-discipline is long term. It's long term. It's sustainable. And motivation is temporary in certain situations. So there's going to be days where you're not motivated. And during my 9 month journey of my weight loss journey, there were certain days I wasn't motivated. That's just honestly, I wasn't
Mhm.
motivated. I
I
was
mean,
like,
I go
okay,
through that too every now and then.
yes. So, but what helped me with that was my self discipline, just being disciplined, and also what helped me with that as well. I made a commitment. I made a commitment as well as a promise to myself on April 4th of 2017 that I'm going to lose this weight. I didn't even set a timeline. I had like a general idea, but I didn't set like a specific date. I was like, each day is progress. Each day I'm going to take
Mm.
accountability. I'm going to take action. I don't care how long this takes for me to get this 100 pounds off. I'm going to get it off. And that's what I recommend to people. Don't set like a target date, because if you're because you're going to have plateau times. There's going to be ups. There's going to
Mm.
be some days. There's going to be highs and lows. So having like a specific target date is not ideal because that can be overwhelming and stressful, and it can also be just discouraging and motivating.
A very good point you mentioned, because I feel like it's more about fixing a routine and you just show up. It's like, okay, I do my work one day at a time. Just keep doing it rather than thinking, because that's what they say. We sometimes don't even have any idea how much we can achieve in a year. Because as you see that I play instruments. So sometimes people who want to learn guitar and they would be like, oh, it's so hard, I cannot do it. And they play for a day or two or a week and they feel, no, it's so hard. It's not for me. But the thing is that you do every day, because I have seen it myself. Every new thing I picked up, I just sit down doing the same boring thing every day because I sing, I had to practice, and every day I still do practice. And sometimes it gets boring because you're doing it on your own. And as Tony Robbins, from America, he says that things you do in private makes you proud in public. So that's the thing. So the thing you do, say, for example, the time you spend, say, you are not eating particular food, you had to deprive yourself of the food that was not beneficial to you, and then you had to do your walks, probably lonely walks every now and then. Most of the time, I understand, there were no one around you, it was just you, and you're telling yourself, Tasha, you have to do it. So Tasha, the question that comes now, what you have learned, I know you have answered most of it. Why I'm asking or repeating the question, so people can have them in chunks when you're giving them those advice. So what did you learn during those 9 months of that huge struggle that you had to go through?
I learned that I'm powerful. Like I'm strong and I have greatness. And also the main thing that I primarily learned was that I can literally achieve anything that I set my mind to. I set my mind to losing the weight, and I was committed. So that was the main lesson that I learned from my weight loss journey. Is literally you can achieve anything that you set your mind to, because I firmly believe our mindset is the most powerful asset. It is the most powerful resource that we own, that we possess. So that's the main lesson that
But
I learned during my journey.
how did your life change? Say, if you compare your life from that time, be it relationship, be it your family atmosphere or people in your family, how you're behaving with them, or even at work, even your social life, how things have changed, and what's the difference do you see, and why?
That's an amazing question right there.
Thank you.
Literally everything has changed. It was not only a physical transformation with my journey, it was also a spiritual, mental, and emotional transformation. And my life has literally changed for the better. And at that particular time, prior to me taking on my weight loss journey, one of my goals was to pursue my MBA, go to receive a higher advanced degree, go to graduate school. But due to me having sleep apnea, I was tired all the time, very
Mm,
fatigued and sluggish. And I worked at that particular time. I had a very demanding job, and I don't work there anymore, thankfully. But at that particular time, it was very demanding. I was overworked, and I would put in a lot of hours. And working full time and going to grad school is a huge commitment. And I
mm,
knew I couldn't make that commitment because I was always tired.
mm,
So once I started to lose weight, I had more clarity, more focus. I was taking off my breathing machine. I know how no longer had sleep apnea. I had confidence, and most importantly, energy. I had energy to pursue my MBA, to pursue a higher advanced degree. So
mm.
that was one of my goals, and I was able to achieve that. I was able to achieve that through my weight loss journey. And also within my graduate program, I met two beautiful, amazing human beings who helped me get into my dream accounting job. So I have my dream accounting job right now, and everything just manifested for me because I took
Mm.
action. I took action, and I love my current my. It's not a job, it's a career. It's my
Yeah.
accounting career, and I met some beautiful individuals along the journey. And also, the relationship with family members, it has increased. It's gotten closer with certain siblings, and just my overall quality of life has improved. It wasn't just a physical transformation. It was also, just as I indicated, like a spiritual, mental, emotional transformation, and just having better relationships and just overall quality of life.
I think it's a segue to the question that, as you mentioned, you brought up about your work that was stressful, and thankfully, as you keep on saying that, I'm not doing that anymore. That was sometimes for many people it's a hard decision because we have bills to pay. There's security that's involved with this one, financial security, and a lot of other things. And at the time, you're pursuing another degree, and you went back to grad school. So, what was the mindset behind that? That how did you make that shift, that
Yes.
pivoting shift? How did you do that?
Yes, it was a tough choice. It was a tough choice, and the reason why, because I was like in a process of getting another job at the time. But at that point, I was like, you know what, enough is enough. Like my mental state, like I'm just trying to be. I want to continue to pursue my healthy journey. I don't want all the stress. So one day I decided to put in my 2 weeks notice, put in a 2 weeks notice, and at the time I was still looking for jobs in the meantime. But I just went back to my faith and just believing in myself,
Mm,
and just knowing, you know what, okay, there's another job out here for you. Obviously, this job is not beneficial to your health and your well-being.
Yeah.
So it is time to leave. So I had to take that leap of faith, and I'm glad I did because everything just has transpired for me. And what helped me take that leap of faith
Leap
was
of
that
faith.
confidence. Yeah,
True.
having confidence.
I talk about this one. I mean, we're doing our live stream yesterday with my partner, and I was saying that I've seen it in my life. If you take that leap, the net would come underneath. You'll feel that the safety net comes out, and something it works out eventually. So another question, you mentioned about sleep apnea. So for many people, did you recover from it automatically, or did you have to do anything, any kind of medication, any treatment, no surgery,
Yes,
nothing?
well, I didn't have no surgery. I was slowly taking off my breathing machine. So I had some follow-up visits with my doctor, but I did have sleep apnea. And one of the primary contributors to that was just being over obese or overweight, because that's a
Mm,
lot of weight to carry around. It's a lot of stress on your heart, just your breathing system. So once I started to lose weight, I started to sleep better. And I was eventually taken off my breathing machine. But that was my form of to help me with my sleep apnea. I was placed on a breathing machine, but prior to me being on that breathing machine, I did get some sleep studies, some sleep testings done, and things like that. But that was one of the contributing factors. And I'm just happy that I'm no longer on that breathing machine having sleep apnea. But there's a lot of ailments that can take place due to being obese and overweight. Sleep
mm.
apnea is one, being pre-diabetic is another, as well as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and eventually it can lead to heart disease and even other chronic diseases.
It's interesting how we normally don't think, especially when we are younger. I mean, I've been through it, that we don't care about sleeping, not a routine sleep. Sometimes, okay, days on end, you're sleeping or just getting by with 5 hour sleep or 4 hour sleep, and then you still operate. But now I feel that if I don't have proper sleep at night, the next day I really can't operate properly. I don't find the energy to do anything, because a lot of things happen in our, it's a non-REM sleep. It has these 4 stages, 3 and 4. A lot of the replenishment in the body that happens, the cardiovascular system, many of the processes that take place during the time. So even if you don't have that deep sleep, proper sleep, then many of the toxins in your body, it doesn't get flushed out. So that's very important even for your brain, for your body. So you had done your MBA, you had your 2 undergrad degrees, I understand, is it?
Yeah. Yes.
So then after that, did you proceed into getting another degree in fitness, or did you get trained or certified? How did it happen?
So I took my passion, my pain of being overweight, turned to my passion because I was, as I indicated at the beginning too, as well. I did fail at weight loss for 9.5 years, which was a very stressful time for me. So I wanted to take my pain into my passion, which is to help others to help want some fitness. So I've been helping individuals in my local community, and back in 2017 all the way up to now, local community, family members, friends, even co-workers, and also neighbors on their journey. Now I wanted to take it a step further, and what I mean by that, I want to become certified and also just gain more knowledge. I do have knowledge, but also my personal experience and also
Hmm.
helping other individuals. But I wanted to take that a step further. And what I mean by that, I wanted to become certified in certain areas. So one being a personal trainer, as well as a nutrition coach, and also an elite trainer. So these are certifications I have obtained recently, and I just want to become, as I indicated, much more knowledgeable and just help individuals, and also just to let them know it's possible. But it all goes back to that mindset and proper nutrition. So, and the reason why I want to become a personal trainer and also a nutrition coach, because I would love it for individuals to come to me for both. So literally, it's one stop shop. You can come to me for,
Hmm.
for for nutrition advice
It's
as
easier
well
for
as
them
personal
to.
training. Yes.
So Tasha, one thing that definitely the struggles during that time. Now you're training people, you're helping other people as well. So do you see it's a common pattern among people, the same kind of struggle, same kind of negative mindset, same kind of demotivation? Or do you see what are the main things do you see in people like that when they're going through the struggle with their weight?
Yes. For some of my clients is definitely like a toxic work environment or even a toxic home environment. I have one particular client that I'm working with too. She has a toxic or a toxic home environment too. So that's causing her to do some stress eating. So I think stress definitely can hinder individuals from living a healthy lifestyle, because some people do cope with stress through food. and some cope with other ways. But that's one of the areas that I see when people come to me for personal training, even nutrition coaching as well, just that stress eating, and also other individuals. It's just their mindset. They say they start, they lose motivation, they're frustrated, they may lose like 10 to 20 pounds, but they gain it back, and they state
Mm.
that they don't like really going to the gym. So you mentioned that even earlier too, as far as running, they don't like going to the gym to run. You don't necessarily have to do high intensity workouts to lose weight. You can literally walk. You can start your fitness journey by walking, and you can continue your fitness journey by walking. So that's what I'm here to help individuals with, because I know we see all these individuals on Instagram and things like that and YouTube. They're doing all these high intensity workouts, sprinting and things like that, which is totally fine if that's what they prefer.
Yeah.
But for other people, they may not like that. They can do some Zumba, they can dance, and there's various activities that you can do to maintain a fitness lifestyle.
But this new research that has come out, and it's a very recent research, that when you are eating less, when you have less weight, when you're leaner basically or thinner, then you live longer, as opposed to the people who have a lot of muscles, probably eating a lot and very looks great on Instagram and on social media, but probably as opposed to those people, people who are thinner, some people who are just eating one meal a day, they end up living longer. Do you know anything about that, or have you found any research on that?
I heard about like various diets and lifestyle when it comes to nutrition and things like that. And I recommend too, because it's not like a one size fits all what I coach and what I help
Mm.
individuals with. And what I mean by that, literally, there's people that are vegan, that are plant based, that do like to pursue. They're even pescatarian, or they
Yeah.
like the traditional. They like the traditional meals too. So people have various eating habits. So what I coach is not it's not a one size fits all. So I just recommend find what works for you, because like I said, what works for someone else may not necessarily work for you.
It's very true. Everyone has their own journey, isn't it?
Yes.
I was about to ask you that, how are you helping them? So which platform? Do you do it online? Do you have a place where people come to you? Do you have your own gym? How do you do that now?
Yeah, so for what I help individuals with is online. I do online right now, but I'm going to be looking to also do in-person training through a gym, and also even offer. I have my own personal gym at home too, so I offer that as well. So I have multiple platforms right now, and as far as my online training too, I do offer various sessions. I offer 30-minute sessions as well as 60-minute sessions to help individuals. So I'm online and also in person. What I do right now.
No, definitely. We'll have all the details on the show notes and the description on this podcast, so people will find you. But in the meantime, what's your routine like now? Since you
Yeah.
maintain such a healthy life now, so it's not only, as you mentioned, it's not only the nutrition or not only a fitness routine going to the gym, or it has to be a balance of your mental and your physical well-being. So what's your routine?
Yes. So my routine right now, I'm in maintenance right now. What I mean by that, I'm not looking to lose weight. I'm just looking to maintain my weight, to
Mm.
maintain my healthy lifestyle. So what my routine consists of now, definitely proper nutrition as well as fitness. And as far as my fitness, it depends on like pretty much my day. I may do one day that's high intensity workouts. I may do a day that's really low intensity on a treadmill. I definitely do strength training with dumbbells. So it depends on the day. But as far as my fitness, I do like to work out at least 5 to 6 days a week, because that's just part of my lifestyle. And I just made it a
Hmm.
habit. I made it a routine. And as far as my proper nutrition, I still eat healthy. And with that too as well, I do have a treat meal or a cheat meal. I like saying the word treat meal because I'm treating myself for all my hard work as well as smart work throughout the week. So I have a treat meal once a week, and that's typically on a Saturday. And
It's a
that's
positive word, because that's what one of my guests once said, that it's not a cheat day, it's a reward day. And I use that too. This is really right, because like a placebo effect, there's something called nocebo effect. So when you keep on thinking about the negative and you end up getting negative effect, like in placebo effect, when you think about that it's working, when you think about the positive side of things, and you get the positive results. So that's really nice. So are you maintaining both at the same time, that you're working as an accountant and then you're helping people?
Yes, yes, yes. So accounting is another it's another one of my passions as well, because I always wanted to be in accounting, because I'm also a numbers woman, just like number crunching and things like that. So I'm into that. So when I'm not doing my or my accounting career, my accounting profession full time, I work with my clients. I work with my clients part time. And this is both of my passions, and I'm just literally fulfilling my mission and also my dream. This is to help
Mm,
people, and I want people to know because there's a lot of overwhelming information out here that can be confusing as well as
yeah.
misleading. So my job is to provide credible, reliable, as well as beneficial information to weight loss and healthy living. And ultimately, just to let people know it's truly possible to lose it all natural if you're able to. I know there's individuals that may need to have surgery, which is totally fine. But if you're able to lose it naturally, I'm here to help you get there.
Great. So there's this physical fitness side of things we've discussed so far now, but definitely mental well-being. It came up, but now you will live in a always-on society, and also since you're helping a lot of your clients online, you are kind of spread out on a lot of different social media platforms. Instagram, you're on Wisdom. Are you in Clubhouse as well?
Yes. Yep. I'm in,
Yes.
yep. I'm in Clubhouse. Have my own
Yeah.
club on Clubhouse. Living your
So
best life.
how
Step
do you
11.
deal with these multiple distractions all around? Because you have to keep to your schedule, you have to help those people. So that's why networking is important. But you need to have a balance because sometimes it's so easy to get carried away. Such a huge distraction. This is one of the problems, especially young ones are dealing with it the most. People who are a little bit grown up, they can still, but sometimes they're prone to it too. If you're not careful, you can totally get carried away and your whole day can be wasted. So, how do you deal with that?
Yes. I just go back to time management. Time management also just that self discipline. And I feel
Mm,
that definitely is part of my journey as well with the weight loss because you do have to be disciplined. You do have to have a schedule. You have to stick to it. And that's how I've been able to correlate that or transfer that to what I'm doing right now with my accounting profession. And as you indicated, been on various social media platforms and just having that time management and just strategizing and goes back to that self discipline.
you remind me of that book, Deep Work by Cal Newport. So, it's that when you're doing your, especially in knowledge work, people who are working in, and especially you deal with numbers, that's very delicate because anything goes wrong, it can have implications. So, because you are in an office, say there are emails coming in, and then even at work, probably when you come back home, there are probably emails you're checking at some point of the day, and you see something, you can get stressed. Does it happen to you? Do you face these things on a daily basis? Say now you have multiple clients, multiple platforms, then you have your work, and you have your responsible position at work. And there are a lot of things to juggle with. Are you able to manage it every day, do you think?
Yeah.
Are you on top
Yes,
of it?
I'm on top of it. And the reason why, because I'm fulfilling my mission as well as my dream to help
Mm,
people and also helping also my clients within my accounting profession. And I'm on top of everything. And that just goes back to just time management. And I just know the importance of not overwhelming myself. I'm very strategic in how I approach social media because I want to approach that strategically because like there's multiple social media platforms these days. It's not only social media, social audio. So
yeah.
that's another form of social media right there. So just being strategic and just prioritizing and just literally just taking things one day at a time and just having that schedule, setting time aside weekly to plan out my week for the upcoming week. So that's how I'm able to stay on top of everything. Just planning and strategizing.
I agree with you because the thing is that when I was trying to get in touch with you, I leave a message and I learned that you leave a message to Tasha, you don't wait for the reply on the same day. Probably it will come after 2 days or a day after because I see that you maintain that. That's really nice. So I initially I was thinking, okay, is Tasha, is she interested to get onto the podcast or for this interview? Because there are times when I left this message and I didn't hear anything from you for a couple of days. So you're definitely doing a very good job. I mean, kudos to you. I mean, how it works for me, because I like to read, research, and I have a lot of things that I do on my own. So sometimes I don't even keep my phone with me. So that helps me. My partner sometimes she calls me and she can't get hold of me because my phone's not with me, but I keep it in another room. When I'm working, say I'm working on something, I'm reading something, I'm writing something, then I don't even keep my phone near me because that's
Right.
one of the ways that it helps me because it's such a distraction. And say, for
You're
example,
right.
we're spending time together. So that's when I most of the time leave it in another room. So I don't even leave my phone around me because this is one of the problems people face nowadays, even in their relationships, even families, children, when with their parents, when they're having, they probably at the dinner table, when they're having lunch or dinner, or even when they're out in a restaurant, people are out with their phones, even the parents including. So that's a bigger issue, and you're doing such a great job. Thanks a lot for the time that you had given us and all the amazing advice you had given, also for sharing your personal story, because you have achieved that, and it's in maintenance. As you said, that you're maintaining it now. It's not about losing any more weight, but I have to maintain that. But still, it's a sometimes people don't want to look that vulnerable in front of others. Oh my God, I had been through this struggle. I don't want to share my struggle. It's only the success story. But it's really nice. I'd like to thank you on behalf of all the listeners and the viewers for being that honest and sharing your story, which will inspire other people. So where can they find you?
Yes, I want to say thank you. Thank you again for taking the time to host this podcast. I can be found on various social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, so you can look me up on Instagram, TASHADetermined3, determined with the D at the end. So Instagram, TASHADetermined3, as well as you can find me on YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel also dedicated to health, wellness, and fitness. My YouTube channel is called Tasha Determined, Health, Wellness, and Fitness. I'm also on TikTok as well as Facebook, Tasha Determined. Tasha Determined on TikTok as well as Facebook.
But I'll leave it on the show notes. I'll take everything, all the details, I'll put it on the show description as well. So Tasha, have a great day. Definitely, you'll get back to probably training some more people and get back to work and do some number crunching as well if you have some time. And thanks again for joining the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.